Welcome back, traders. It's Chris here with this weekly top Forex trade review. This time we're going to be covering a trade on the EURCAD, and it's one of my students, Byron. He absolutely crushed it for a monster trade on this one here. His entry, 47.33, got out at 52.33. It's 500 pips, and he did all this with a 10 pip stop. Held it for 5 days, and he grabbed plus 50R. To put that in perspective, if he put $1,000 of risk in this, he would have made $50,000 in profit, 50 times his risk. Or if he even put $100 in this trade, he would have walked out with a $5,000 profit. This is a massive, massive plus R trade on this one here. Just a huge trade with a lot of profit. So we're going to get into it as we always do, with going over his entry strategy, stop loss, take profit, things I think could be done to improve on it. So let's go ahead and jump into that. But before you do, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. We really appreciate it. Helps it with the YouTube algorithm. And so let's go ahead and jump into the trade right here. So here's the actual trade. I think he's using C Trader on this one here. So 47.33, here's his stop loss here. And here's where he took profit. So this is from the actual broker chart. It's showing exactly his entry and his stop loss and his take profit on that one here. And so here's the 5-minute chart. He was catching into this zone here. And then it started to bounce, and he felt like the bounce was in play. He bought it. Turns out he was right. And so this is the same trade as well. But I have this on the trading view, so let's go ahead and take a look at this. This is the trade right here. Absolutely a monster. And so here's his entry location. Here's his stop loss, and here's his take profit. He took profit way up here. Let's get into the entry location first and his stop loss. I think I would make a small adjustment on the stop loss here, but everything else pretty much to me is near perfect. So we are looking at the 1-hour chart on this one here, and here's what really is going on with this one here. So EURCAD just starts kind of really getting bullish. If you notice, it's spending a lot of time, the majority of time above the 20 MA. It's just continually building bounce, 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 bounce. These would all have been probably pretty good entries to get in long. Gets a little bit below it, gets back above it, briefly below it, back up it, and a very strong impulsive run from here to here. So if you look at this one here, you see how there really is very little pullback to the 20 MA. So if you have that kind of price action that is just holding consistently above the 20 MA, that is super strong momentum. That is a lot of momentum from a mathematical standpoint. It can't even make it to the 20 MA. So that's just a huge amount of buying. If you're long, this is not the time to be taking profit anytime you see that kind of relationship with the price action to the 20 MA. So then what happens is the market starts to form a corrective structure and a short-term resistance and support area. So here is really your corrective structure on this one here. And this is the first, if you look at this, this is super strong bullish order flow. And then this is the first corrective structure. It's a balancing zone at the top of a prior bull trend. Generally, when you have a strong impulsive move like this one here, and then you have a corrective structure at the top, especially if it's the first one and it's at the top, that indicates very little profit taking. So it comes up, and here we are. We do have some selling here, some little profit taking, but it's not that much. There's not a whole lot of presence from the bears in the market because it's bounces and then continues to attack the highs. That tells you that the bulls are still in the market, especially after this bounce right over here. So when you form a corrective structure like this, the general pattern with price action order flow is impulsive, corrective structure at the top. Generally, the next leg is considered up. That's a more probabilistic direction than reversing course here. That's what happened. And if we kind of mark, let's do a horizontal line here. So that is the bottom, basically, where this thing bounces on this 1-hour chart. And maybe we can get into it on a 5-minute chart, kind of show what it looks like. So we finally get some profit taking, and then there's a really aggressive sell attempt to kind of push through. It makes a lower low, but then the market starts to bounce, showing that bulls are kind of taking over a little bit here. Eventually, they push it all the way back up to this kind of high over here. So this tells you, okay, we definitely have some clear resistance between 48.58 and 48.65. So here's your resistance. Sellers come back again. They push back into here. They get into this zone. And then it starts to see some aggressive buying. And he says, that's where I want to get in. I feel like this zone is going to hold. So I'm going to buy it. And he buys it pretty much at the upper portion of this kind of pullback support zone. If I remark it here, you can kind of see there is a layer of just consistent buying interest. And you can see it most clearly here. Buying, buying, continues to buy, continues to buy. We don't even make it back down to these lows. Continues to buy, and makes all the way back up here again. So he feels like, hey, we're getting back into this zone. I want to get long. I feel like this zone is going to hold, so I am going to get long on this one. And he does. And going back to the 1 hour chart, you can see that's exactly what happens with this particular trade. So ends up making new highs, and it is kind of a little bit choppy. It does make a brief dip back, but then it just continues to get bullish and bullish again. The thing I like about this is that, you make it back below the 20 MA, but then immediately 1 hour of buying completely eliminates all this selling prior. And then we treat the 20 MA as support again. So reminding us again, hey, bulls are still in control. Nothing's changed that. And so in terms of an entry location, it's a darn near perfect entry. Like, you really couldn't get a whole lot better than this particular entry. In terms of the stop loss, I feel like it was a little on the tight side. I feel like if you are going to do a stop loss and this was the prior low, then you have to get below that. And it looks like he might have. Maybe he just decided to go like 1 pip below this here. Yeah, it looks, no, his stop was 23, and the lowest on the price action here on this one is 23, and that's where he put his stop loss. And I feel like that's a little too tight on this one here. And if this is the lowest print prior to that, then I think you got to do at least 1 or 2 pips below that. But so the stop loss to me is just a little on the tight side in terms of, I think it's healthier to put it below the lowest print instead of at the lowest print. And so I would give it a little more room, give it a couple pips below that. But his entry was near perfect on this one here. And once he was in the positive, he never went in the negative on this one here. It never came back and went into the negative with him. And eventually, after a little bit of chop and a little bit of sideways, then it gets really bullish towards the end, and it just continues to build and build and build with a really aggressive push up towards the top. Now, in terms of his target, this was, to me, a well-placed target when you zoom out to the higher time frame context. Now, in terms of his target, so zooming out at the daily time frame here, I think this was a well-chosen target if he was choosing a fixed target. It didn't look like he was managing the trades at all because there was kind of a lot of chop. And so I think it seems like he was just holding till he got to his target. Why did he choose this target? Well, let's put up a line here and I'll show you. So here's his resistance here, resistance here, resistance here, resistance here. There is a few spikes above it, but there's just a lot of resistance at this particular level. Keep in mind, he got in and it blew right past this. So he blew past the nearest short-term resistance, which was right here at 49.92, and the big round number at 150, and he held through all of that. And so it blew past this, and he felt like this is a pretty good area of resistance. So I want to take profit here. I think that's super well chosen. I think your only other alternatives would be this kind of resistance right up here, which it didn't end up making to. You can go for the big enchilada on this one here, which is 156, but you'd have to hold it a lot longer. And there's just a lot of volatility going on in the market. So euro is strong right now. And so a lot of euro pairs are doing really, really well. So he would have been forgiven to wanting to hold this past this major resistance zone here, going for a big one here. But I think he probably had a fixed target on this one. It's a super well chosen target. I really, really like it on this one here. And so overall, I consider this, a pretty darn good trade. Near perfect entry. Stop loss a little too tight for my taking, but the take profit was super well chosen. And so overall, he's just being aggressive. He's following the order flow in the price section, realizing it's super strong. We break above a major kind of resistance kind of structure over here. Let me put this out here. So we break above this, we clear way above it, and then we pull back into this zone here, and the zone kind of forms between 147.21 and 147.52. And he feels like, okay, the trend's in place. We blew through this. It should act as support. The market does treat it as support, bounces a little bit, and then he takes the second touch on this one here. Overall, just in my opinion, this is an A+ trade. The only thing that I think he could have done differently is maybe he could have on a 4-hour chart, but even then, this 20 MA is kind of lagging. So in terms of trailing it, I think it's a little too far behind. And so I don't think it's kind of hugging the price action enough right now to continue to trail it. So he'd be losing a lot of profit by doing that. So overall, just a great trade on this one here. Congrats to Byron on this one here. Excellent job grabbing 500 pips on this one here. Plus 50 R return. That is an amazing return. And so he's kind of taking after one of our students at Tai, who consistently posts his trades. He does this all the time where he captures monster trades, 200, 300, 400 pips just on 10 pip stops. And so he kind of took off in that same direction and used this kind of strategy that Tai does to grab a massive profit. So that's pretty much on this one here. Congratulations to Byron on this one, making it to the top trade review. Awesome trade on this one here. I really like it. He's trading with trend. He's got a super precise entry. He really just follows all the steps that we want our students to do. So the goal of this video and the goal of these videos in the Top Trade Review is to show you how we trade, to show you how our students trade, and how they make money trading. And we keep doing this week after week after week, and we have tons of contenders from our students posting their top trades, trades that they share in real time with our other members, saying, hey, I'm looking at taking this trade. Here's what I'm looking at. What do you guys think of this? We have all these eyes on the market, and a lot of people are taking these trades and profiting from them. So just congrats to the members on this. We've really done a good job, and they've done a great job of really building the community and just sharing all their trade ideas and helping everybody kind of lift everybody up in terms of how they trade and improving their performance and helping out the newer members kind of build their skills along the way and giving some good trade recommendations as they go along as well. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to subscribe to our channel, hit that like button, Hulk smash it. Really helps us out as a small channel like this to continue to grow and do videos like this. And so we look forward to hearing from your comments. Make sure you leave them in the comment section below and subscribe for notifications as well, so you get a notification anytime we publish anything on the channel. Other than that, good luck trading this week. I'll look forward to hearing from you, and I'll see you in the next video.